Before the roaring stadiums, Super Bowl MVPs, and $500 million contracts, Patrick Mahomes was just a wiry kid in Texas with a cannon for an arm and a dream. But in a state where football is practically a religion, even the most gifted athletes sometimes get overlooked, and Mahomes knew that all too well. Despite his raw talent and undeniable field vision, many high school programs and college scouts didn't see the future superstar in him. So how did the kid go from that to collecting Super Bowl rings like they were Pokemon cards? Patrick Mahomes wasn't the tallest, he wasn't the fastest, and he didn't come from a traditional quarterback mold. Coaches raised eyebrows at his unorthodox mechanics and playground-style improvisations. Schools often benched their hopes on more polished passers, leaving Mahomes out of the spotlight. But that didn't stop him. Patrick's athleticism was impossible to ignore. On the diamond, he was just as lethal, a dominant pitcher with a blistering fastball. Mahomes was throwing in the mid-90s before most kids could grow facial hair. Scouts from Major League Baseball took serious notice. In fact, he was so impressive that the Detroit Tigers drafted him straight out of high school. But Mahomes had other plans. He chose to pursue football full-time at Texas Tech University, a decision that raised more eyebrows. Even then, the top-tier college programs passed him over, doubting whether he could translate his backyard flair into big-time wins. At Tech, he balled out with video game numbers, throwing bombs over his body, turning broken plays into highlights, and proving over and over that he wasn't just a gunslinger, he was a game changer. Still, come NFL draft day, many doubted whether he was NFL material. Then came the Kansas City Chiefs. And thanks to Andy Reid, who saw what so many others didn't see, and it would take Mahomes a desperate use of his sweat and blood to prove his doubters wrong and to make all those who believe in him proud of their bet on his success. Mahomes had always showcased his special athletic capabilities right from time. In his senior year, he threw for 4,619 yards and 50 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions, leading his team to a 12-1 record. In his final high school game, he amassed an astounding 595 passing yards and 6 touchdowns, but his team still fell short in a 65-60 shootout. On the baseball diamond, Mahomes was equally impressive. He pitched a no-hitter with 16 strikeouts in one game and consistently threw fastballs in the 90s. Despite his talents, many Division I programs overlooked him, questioning his mechanics and style. Choosing to attend Texas Tech University, Mahomes continued to defy expectations as he was obviously desperate to prove his worth at any opportunity given to him. In his final college game against Baylor, he threw for 586 yards and 6 touchdowns, leading the Red Raiders to a 54-35 victory. Throughout his college career, he set multiple records, including an FBS record of 734 passing yards and 819 total yards in a single game against Oklahoma. Despite his college success, Mahomes faced skepticism entering the NFL draft. Critics labeled him as a gunslinger with risky play. However, the Kansas City Chiefs saw his potential and traded up to select him 10th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft. When the Kansas City Chiefs selected Patrick Mahomes with the 10th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, it raised more than a few eyebrows. A Texas Tech gunslinger with a rocket arm and an off-script playstyle. Mahomes wasn't your textbook quarterback, but head coach Andy Reid saw something special. The Chiefs traded up 17 spots to grab him, and it turned out to be a franchise-altering move. Mahomes sat most of his rookie year behind veteran Alex Smith, only getting a taste of an action in Week 17, where he tossed 284 yards and showed flashes of pure brilliance. But it was in 2018, his first full season as a starter, that the league took notice, and fast. Mahomes lit up defenses, finishing with 5,097 passing yards, 50 touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions. His creativity was unmatched. No-look passes, sidearm throws, bombs on the run, you name it. He became the third player in NFL history to throw 50 TDs in a season and won the league MVP. In 2019, Mahomes and the Chiefs were on a mission. Despite missing 2 games to a knee injury, he still posted 4,031 passing yards and 26 touchdowns. The Chiefs clinched the number 2 seed in the AFC, but it was the playoffs that truly defined Mahomes' rise. In the divisional round against the Texans, Kansas City fell behind 24-0 in the first quarter. But Mahomes led an explosive comeback, throwing for 321 yards and 5 touchdowns as the Chiefs stormed back to win 51-31. In the AFC Championship game versus the Titans, Mahomes delivered again, throwing for 294 yards and 3 total touchdowns, including a dazzling 27-yard scramble that showcased both his athleticism and willpower. Then came Super Bowl 54 in Miami. The Chiefs trailed the 49ers 20-10 late in the game, and Mahomes had already thrown 2 picks. But like all season, he turned the tide. A deep bomb to Tyreek Hill on 3rd and 15 sparked a 21-point rally. Mahomes threw 2 clutch touchdown passes and sealed the game, earning Super Bowl MVP honors. From doubted draft pick to league icon, Patrick Mahomes' journey to his first Super Bowl was a masterclass in resilience, talent, and leadership, rewriting what it means to be a quarterback in today's NFL. After capturing his first Lombardi trophy in Super Bowl 54, Patrick Mahomes returned again in 2020 with one thing on his mind: doing it again. The Kansas City Chiefs came out swinging, and Mahomes was at the center of it all. Carving up defenses with his signature blend of arm talent and football IQ, he threw for 4,740 yards, 38 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions, leading the Chiefs to a league-best 14-2 record. The road to Super Bowl 55 wasn't without its bumps, but Mahomes made it look smooth. In the divisional round against the Cleveland Browns, he threw for 255 yards and a touchdown before a scary concussion forced him out of the game. Backup Chad Henne helped close it out, but the Chiefs wouldn't have been there without Mahomes' poise and precision in the early goings. Back for the AFC Championship game, Mahomes looked locked in. He diced up the Buffalo Bills, throwing for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 38-24 win. His chemistry with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill was on full display, as Kansas City's high-octane offense looked nearly unstoppable. Then came Super Bowl 55, a rematch with the legendary Tom Brady, now leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the Chiefs' offensive line was decimated by injuries, and it showed. Mahomes was under siege the entire game, pressured on over half his dropbacks. Despite the relentless blitz, he still made jaw-dropping throws, some while horizontal, but his receivers couldn't finish the plays. The Chiefs lost 31-9, and for the first time in Mahomes' young career, his team failed to score a touchdown. It was a humbling night, but one that only fueled Mahomes more. Even in defeat, his fight and fire were undeniable. His loss during this match obviously showed Mahomes what he stood to lose if he fails to prove himself completely, and it was obvious that this was the point Mahomes made up his mind to be the best he could be. After falling short in Super Bowl 55, Patrick Mahomes returned to the grind with a chip on his shoulder. The 2022 season was seen by many as a test. Tyreek Hill was gone, and critics wondered if Mahomes could maintain his dominance without his top deep threat. But Mahomes answered the doubters in classic fashion. He led the league with 5,250 passing yards and 41 touchdowns, claiming his second NFL MVP award. With new weapons like Juju Smith-Schuster and a breakout year for rookie Isaiah Pacheco, Mahomes adopted and evolved. He didn't just rely on big plays, he picked defenses apart with timing, patience, and pure football IQ. The Chiefs finished the regular season 14-3, locking down the AFC's top seed. In the divisional round against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Mahomes suffered a high ankle sprain early in the game, but even on one leg, he toughed it out, returning in the second half to lead Kansas City to a gritty 27-20 win. The injury didn't stop him in the AFC Championship game either. In a tense showdown with Joe Burrow and the Bengals, Mahomes threw for 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. On a limping final drive, he scrambled for a crucial first down, drawing a late-hit penalty that set up the game-winning field goal. Chiefs 23, Bengals 20. Back to the Super Bowl. In Super Bowl 57, Mahomes faced off against Jalen Hurts and the red-hot Philadelphia Eagles. Despite re-aggravating his ankle, Mahomes turned in a gutsy performance, throwing for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. He orchestrated a near-perfect second half and led a game-winning drive that ended with a Harrison Butker field goal. Chiefs 38, Eagles 35. Mahomes earned Super Bowl MVP again, and almost like a fairy tale, the doubted kid from Texas rose to become the very face of the NFL, a true champ and the undoubted king of American football. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to this channel for more.